Does aim training make you worse? Let's find out. So as some of you may know, I am on the week 3 of my aim training challenge, and the number 1 skill I am trying to improve on is close range tracking. And guess what happened this week? I did worse than my first week of aim training. But here's one thing I want to point out. So if you look at my results, you can see that my average score went down by like 150 points. Obviously, not good from week 1 to week 3. That being said, take a look at the minimum and maximum columns. Obviously in week 1, I did have a higher maximum, but if you take a look at the minimums, I scored almost 500 higher in my worst game in week 3 than my worst game in week 1. The reason why this is a big deal is consider the circumstance where you're in a game and someone catches you blindly off guard and you basically are going to aim your absolute worst because you're not prepared. So your worst game just got better, right? So now instead of fighting like, a fucking potato, you're gonna play like at least closer to your average, so you're gonna have a better chance of winning that duel and a likelier chance that now your worst is better than most people's averages. So when you get these low scores, it can be extremely frustrating, but one thing to keep in note is that just because you do bad in one category doesn't mean you're not doing better in other categories. So taking a look at the bounce 180, you can see that my average jumped nearly 4 points and my minimum jumped almost 6 points. And then my maximum jumped another 9 points. So obviously I didn't do great in the challenge before, the close range tracking, but my bounce tracking, which is just basically tracking on every axis, has overall gone up significantly in that time period. And then diving into the third set of stats, so this would be the pad target switch. So a ton of improvement here especially within the average. My average for week 3 was 14,475, up from 13,542, which is almost 1,000 points increase. And you can see my minimum score nearly went up 600 points as well as my maximum being raised by well over 1,000. So progress is being made. And then taking a look at the last practice mode, which would be box. So we can see my average score went up nearly 2 points. My minimum score was raised by only 1, but still quite substantial. And my max score went up by 2. This has definitely been probably the least trained skill with Vox tracking. I would say this is the practice mode with the least amount of tracking compared to the other 3 tracking modes. It's a lot more about just acquiring targets quickly and accurately. And obviously I'm not working on that as much. I'm way more focusing on keeping my cursor on target instead of acquiring targets. So it does not surprise me that this is my worst skill, but it definitely is good that I'm making steady progress up. I don't think, unless I make it a focus, I probably won't make big jumps in this category. But maybe I'll make another series on acquiring targets instead of just tracking. So that'll do it for all the results for week 3. So as you can see, I was only doing bad in one category. So only one category was I doing worse than week 1. That's gonna happen. Spoiler alert, week 4, I was trying to edit these 2 videos at the same time, and it turns out that week 4's video has been corrupted. So I'm gonna spoil a little news. The close range tracking made a big improvement in week 4. So obviously, if you can take anything from this video, is if you have one bad week at something or one bad score on something, don't let it get you down. So my tip of the week is to always give yourself a chance. So if you're playing a game and you're getting frustrated with yourself, or you're doing like a aim training routine like this, when you're getting frustrated and you feel like you're not performing, or you feel like everyone's just better than you for some reason, like, it's okay to cut yourself a break. The worst thing you can possibly do is get mad and frustrated with yourself. Obviously, it's what you inherently want to do. Maybe you get frustrated with your teammates, or you just stop having fun. The one thing that I would try to do, and what helps me a lot in the aim training, especially when you have a couple bad scores in a row, is just remember that you're human and that you're not going to be perfect every single day. And every single time you fight somebody, you can't be your absolute best. It's just not possible. What you can try to do, though, is be as focused as possible. You can always try your absolute best. And you might still have a bad night of gaming. You might still have a bad night of training. But after that, the next day might be your best day. Like, you never ever know. So the more consistent you can be, even after those bad days, that's where it really matters. So if you can keep pushing through those bad days, the good days will come. So stay positive, and that goes for gaming as just as much as it does life. So thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it helps me out and it helps you keep informed on videos. Keep on the lookout for the week 5 results video. Take care, everyone. Peace.